What's up, guys? I Crash. Welcome back to our Real. Today we're reacting to Biggest Fail Fucks on Anime by Nox Taku. Taku? I hope I'm saying that name right. This is ever my first time really ever seeing his channel. I've heard about him. He's a big guy in the anime community. Obviously, has over 1 million subscribers. So I know he's a big guy. I know he's kind of like he's been called out a few times for some of his videos or quirks or something like that. Like I know like he got a business that rubs a lot of people the wrong way sometimes. But I'm very excited to get you guys. Sorry if I sound weird. My nose, this kind of stuff. I got a sore throat. So sorry if I sound kind of weird. But I'm going to get right to this, guys. In my mind, this is just a reaction to it. But before we make sure you like, subscribe, and share it. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you want to see me do more, make sure to comment down below what other you want me to react to. Make sure to check out the link below to the original video as well to his original channel. Make sure to subscribe to him, go like the video, and make sure to follow me on social media. But let's get into it.
One of the greatest aspects in anime actually is, it's when you have two characters that are facing off. And one character just flexes so hard on his opponent. Everyone in the audience gets their own personal flex boner by the absolute mastery of the craft that they are witnessing at that point in time. Flexing is one of the things anime does best. It's when one character, just for the sake of flexing their glorious awesomeness alone, executes a godly act to incapacitate his adversary by the sheer force of will alone. I love flexing in anime. I love it so much that I've made 18 episodes on the biggest flexes in anime. But we have only scratched the surface of the absolute beauty that the medium holds. Because today is the first episode of the biggest failed flexes in anime. Yes, flexing in anime.
I want to talk real quick. I feel like when flexes were big, but I feel like it wasn't to reach like the services came out. We got introduced to the Lioness himself. That really we saw just how much flexing could be because he just flexed on everybody. The whole Sunshine Power, man, like it was just crazy.
Anime is fantastic and feels dope. But you know what sometimes feels even better? When someone's trying so hard to flex on their opponent and they fail and it blows up in their face. Today, the biggest failed flexes in anime marks a glorious occasion where I can talk about some of my favorite scenes, why they're hilarious, and why you should definitely smash like if you want biggest failed flexes in anime too, because if this video hits 50,000 likes, I'll do it. I wanted to start off strong with the failed flex that pops on my mind first every single time I hear the phrase failed flexes, which is a phrase I came up with and which is hilarious. I love seeing failed flexes because flexing in itself is an art that I view in a negative connotation, that is until I kind of reworded the entire meaning of what flexing is on the internet. But when I see a douchebag trying to flex and it just blows up in their face, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world. Because flexing in real life, when it comes to douche tubers especially, is really, really annoying. So today, the biggest failed flexes in anime, starting strong, Vegeta versus Cell. This is the poster boy of failed flexes in anime in my mind, hands down, when I approach the topic. After Vegeta pops out of the extraordinary convoluted time chamber, and yes, that is the canonical name in my mind, the man becomes a beast. He reaches an ascended level of Super Saiyan so fantastic, he is whooping Cell's ass. Now, this is the guy that someone in the future came back in time to warn everyone that he would be extremely dangerous. So, what does Vegeta do when he's having a fun time slapping him around? He says, yeah, no problem. Go absorb some androids. I don't mind. I'll still destroy you. Reach your absolute peak as far as your power is concerned, and then I'll dunk on you. That's right, Vegeta was flexing so hard on Cell. He let Cell reach his perfect form before he shows him a lesson. And unfortunately, that flex was a bit of a fail on Vegeta.
This is one of the reasons why I could never truly say I'm a Vegeta fan, because it was like a moment like this. It was just like, why? And now Goku has his problems too, because Goku does a lot of the same shit, so I feel like they're both kind of equal. But this moment, I remember the first time I watched this as a kid, I was like, Vegeta, why? You freaking dumbass. I was also mad. I was like, Trunks, just kill him. Just take him out. And now because of his big ass neck, his big ass ego, is like, oh, now we got even more powerful monster to do it, which is perfect for him. So it was that moment right there where I was kind of like, man, I could never be a Vegeta fan.
Vegeta's part because after
I still
Cell
love
reached
his
Perfect
character.
Cell, yeah, well, we all know how that went.
But I
Cell
can never sound like a
absolutely
true
slapped
fan.
the living crap out of Vegeta,
Because, like,
leaving
that
him lying
whole
there as a
was just
twitching
stupid.
sack of flesh that regretted every single action
Like,
of his
if you
life
think
that brought
Super
him to this
Saiyan,
point. This
what you
failed
thought was like
flex
the
was so
ultimate power
hilarious
before,
because Vegeta's
couldn't
son
beat-
came back in time to warn him about the threat
couldn't
that
beat the
Cell was gonna
androids,
be,
and
and he
he's
just let him
absorbed
power
these
up
two
the full
androids.
freaking power,
But
no
still,
problem
again, your arrogance
whatsoever,
is so
because he was
real.
so
It's like,
certain
you don't
of
realize,
himself.
like,
He
come
allowed
on,
him to
bro.
power up because he wanted to flex his extreme ascended Super Saiyan self upon his opponent,
got
and because
handled.
of this massive flex that he wanted to unleash, he ended up almost causing the destruction of the entire universe. I love this
And
scene
nigga,
so
they was
much.
mad
It's
when
the
he got
absolute
handled,
cockiness of Vegeta that got him bitch slapped around where he couldn't have regretted
Hard.
his decisions more.
Like, Cell
and not
was
only that,
laughing
but
at the nigga,
Goku
bro.
and his son, like the 10-year-old Gohan, involuntarily flexed on Vegeta by being
Yep.
stronger than
Yep.
Cell. Dude, I love this failed flex. It's hilarious. And the fact that he did it all to flex on him. Oh my god, it's amazing. It's beautiful. I love this so much. Anyway,
God.
next
I like his
failed
perspective.
flex.
That's just funny.
I think we're all relatively aware of this one. It's Aizen's master plan. So I've talked about Aizen's master plan several times in the past. I've talked about why Aizen's amazing in the Soul Society arc, in
He
the
is
Quincy
amazing.
arc, in the Waco Mundo arc. There's so much I love about Captain Aizen. Every time I think about the massive plot twist in the Soul Society arc, my underwear gets a little tighter, if you know what I'm saying. But the beauty of this man isn't only in his art of the flex, and it isn't only in the art of his overkill. It isn't only in the fact that this man is literally the anime Superman. It's like he takes off his glasses, swishes his hair back, and all of a sudden, this man is ruining everyone's day. But no, it's the fact that he also had one of the funniest failed flexes in anime. When he ended up fighting Ichigo at the end, and he was proclaiming his ultimate plan. Y'all know where I'm going with this
that
already.
ass,
Oh,
bro.
it was my plan all along. Ever since your conception. In fact, before the conception, we find out later in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, he literally set up a situation where Ichigo's mom and Ichigo's dad could be together, and he set up the whole plan where he'd pork the dork, and all of a sudden Ichigo will pop out. He literally
because he
planned
really
Ichigo's
created the
birth,
person
and
that
everything
defeated
post
him.
that was part of
While
his
also
master
making
plan
this
to
person
create
stronger.
Ichigo to become the ultimate fighter, as the
Exactly.
ultimate Hollow Quincy,
Like,
Soul
he wanted
Reaper,
Ichigo to
human
become
visor,
stronger
mega
to
fart
beat him.
that he
Like,
became. A perfect creation,
it was
just so
crazy.
Aizen can flex his ultimate power. That's right, his plan all along, pitting every single opponent against Ichigo his entire way to get him to his absolute maximum potential at this point, just so Aizen can say, I am stronger. Aizen created Ichigo to flex on
Exactly.
Zawaru,
He ended up getting
to say,
flexed
every
on.
single Soul Reaper that I would have ever needed to fight, they're all weaker than Ichigo. I've created the perfect specimen right here in front of him. So if I could beat him, oh, you guys
It's
will
like
be a
you
piece of
create your
cake. This
own
man is the
destruction.
epitome of awesomeness.
And
And
then
then
you put-
Ichigo slaps him! Bruh, this is one of my favorite failed flexes
then
in
he literally
anime.
put
I know a lot of
people
people kind of
in
hate
front
this
of
little
Ichigo
plot
to
point. I
fight.
think it's great as far as
Grimjow,
Aizen's character goes as well,
the-
talking
the-
about his
the other
subconscious
side, I
and
couldn't
whatever,
remember
and I
the
did
name
an
for a moment,
entire
but
analysis
the one he
video on
fought, he
Aizen.
went to
But
the
if you
power
know
for, like,
me,
he literally
and if you don't
put
know me, you
people
should
in front of
definitely
Ichigo to make
subscribe.
him
I
stronger.
love annoying people. It's one of my favorite pastimes, one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to do. And in this lovely, lovely scene of Bleach, where he was like, oh yes, it was all part of my master plan all along. Oh yes, I made you this powerful, you see. And then Ichigo slaps his buttocks. The fandom was
Like,
like,
he literally
bruh,
just, like,
what? You literally
just
had this
blitzed
whole
him.
master plan to make him
And just
strong just
threw
so you
him
could
across
flex
the
on him,
room.
and then he ended up destroying you? Bro! No! And it pissed off the whole fandom, which in turn made me extremely happy. That's right. That's how this works.
love it. I
Deriving
thought that
pleasure
was
from
great.
the agony of a screaming fan base is one of my favorite things to do, ever. So this kind of fit all the checkboxes for me. Massive flex, failed flex, annoyed the fandom. Hell yeah! This is one of the biggest failed flexes.
I can see Nox is definitely why a lot of people don't like him. His personality is very in your face, and like he just said, he loves annoying people, so he's probably got a little sticky people. Well, I can definitely see why people don't like him. But I don't know, I'm loving his personality. I just love the fact he's so in your face. Like he's not like I like people who aren't afraid to be who they are. Like if you're the type of person that likes annoying people and you're kind of ridiculous about it, it's like okay, don't hide that fact. I just love the fact he wants to be himself and that he's himself and he's not afraid to just say, hey, I'm a guy that likes to piss people off. Also, sorry guys, you saw like the big cup. I had to pause for a minute there.
Is in all of anime, and I love it. Next failed flex! Every One Punch Man villain. Bruh, I love One Punch Man. I love the extremely deep philosophy in every single aspect
That's
and blade
true.
of grass of the One Punch Man world. But another thing I like is the failed flexes, because every single villain that they manage to come across thinks he's hot fire. They all think that there's these perfect, untouchable specimens of amazingness that they will flex on literally everyone they come across.
But yet
Deep
this
Sea
bald
King
guy
beats some
pretty
S
much
rank
like
and A rank heroes. The guy feels like he's the
janitor
top of the
outfit with
world. The man
with a napkin
flexes
cage comes
massively
in
on
one
everyone he
shot.
can come across, and it just doesn't limit to him. It's every single character. Everyone beats some heroes, especially Genos. Poor Genos manages to get defeated by literally every baddie in the entire show. And then they're flexing their absolute awesomeness. Then happens to be Saitama was walking there. They try to flex on Saitama, and Saitama annihilates them most of the time before they finish
like,
flexing,
he won't be
which is
paying
hilarious.
attention.
In fact, the
like,
Monster King Orochi, before fighting Saitama, is giving this whole speech about how he is the pinnacle of beings and whatever.
Yeah.
And Saitama literally interrupts him, this is in the manga, saying, "Bro, stop with the epic introductions! Super demon of this, ultimate destruction of whatever. I don't give a crap. Every single villain tries to flex on me the same exact way, and they all get defeated in one punch anyway." Saitama's the ultimate counterflex, because as an unassuming dude, like he is, just walking around, minding his own business, destroying the ultimate incarnation of evil without even giving it a second thought, it's gorgeous, because everyone thinks they're so pristine, so perfect, and so powerful. Every single villain in One Punch Man tries their hardest to flex on this random, easygoing, non-important looking, non-S rank hero dude that's just walking by, and the bald bastard completely annihilates most of them. I think that this is a very valid inclusion to the biggest failed flexes in anime, because every single One Punch Man villain that tries to flex on Saitama inevitably fails.
You think they were it's basically pointless.
So we all love Code Geass, right? Right! If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. Code Geass, absolute masterpiece. It'll be one of your favorite anime for sure, and if it isn't, it just means you have bad taste. Sorry, that's just how life works. And a lot of people like to point out a bit of a writing flaw at the end of season 1, and it's the legendary Euphemia scene that I think so many of us are familiar with. Now, I have ways that I like to work around it and not consider it such a massive writing flaw. It was a plot device, that's for sure. But it was also a failed flex. So, it's revealed in the first episode of Code Geass, so this isn't really a spoiler, that Lelouch, the protagonist, gains the ability to kind of mind control people with eye contact and intends to do it. If he looks at you in the eye and he's like, "I, Lelouch V. Britannia, command you, subscribe to Nux Taku," you'll have like no choice and you'll have to subscribe. Now, being that I'm not Lelouch, I cannot command you to do so. However, I eagerly urge you to do so because it would make me very happy and you'd get a lot of very epic content. Hell yeah, win-win. But now, there's a lot of foreshadowing throughout the first season of Code Geass, with the entire arc surrounded by the character Mao, someone who had their Geass power, and eventually they were unable to control it. So too, it seemed very obvious that Lelouch would eventually lose the ability to control his Geass, and he can accidentally issue orders that they will have to follow without necessarily meaning to implement the Geass power. Now, I'm not going to spoil any of the massive plot events that go on there, because I think Code Geass is one of the few anime that is an absolute, bar none, masterpiece that everyone needs to experience. But the man tries so hard to flex on someone else. He's like, "Yo, I could command you to do this massive, abhorrent, Hitler-like act. I could say, I command you to do this, but I would never do that. I could get you to do what I want without commanding you to do blank." And that happens to be the moment where he loses control of his Geass, and he accidentally, due to him flexing the ability to command them to do something, he accidentally commands them to do that very terrible thing, and then they do it, and it's very bad and sad for literally everyone on the planet. Now, this is what I like to call a failed flex, because the fact that he was wording it like that altogether, he was basically flexing, saying, "I could command you to go murder school children," and then they're like, "Must murder school children." Yeah, that's what I call a massive failed flex. I'm sorry, it definitely counts. Next failed flex. And it's Estarossa versus Escanor from the Seven Deadly Sins.
The Lionel himself.
So, when I started my biggest flexes in anime series, which is definitely something you should check out if you don't know about it, it covers like most of the best moments in anime. I started it off in the first episode strong, talking about Escanor. This man is the literal embodiment of flexing. I love him so much. Seven Deadly Sins is kind of a godsend just for this man alone.
I was saying, like, it was really for me, like, I felt like flexing was such a big thing when I started watching Seven Deadly Sins, and Escanor was introduced, and it's just like he just one-shots everybody. And yeah, One Punch Man doesn't think about Saitama. He doesn't like say he's so strong. He's not like, "Oh, you're so pathetic and weak that I'm just so much strong." You, Escanor Escanor lets you know how much better than you he is. He lets you feel the despair of knowing that you're nowhere on my level in any way, shape, or form. You're nothing. You're cheap. You're garbage. Escanor lets you know. Like he's not afraid of that. Saitama Reed does. Saitama was like, I hope you're strong. You're not boring. Escanor was like, bitch, you're not on my level. You never were. Get out my face. Like he's very just like he's in your face about, hey, I'm way stronger than you. Stop trying. Like that's the whole thing about Escanor. When I saw him, I was like, damn man, I never seen a character that just shit on somebody so hard. Like, cause he was just like everybody was just like, come on, stop.
From the other amazing characters that it features, but Escanor flexes a lot. He's the Lion Sin of Pride, and well, he definitely lives up to that name. It's become such a meme, especially in my community, that someone uses their powers on him and it's like, you will never defeat me. Your son was swallowed up by my darkness. Your son was swallowed up by my darkness? Who decided that? And the who decided that line became so goddamn amazing. It could shut down any argument at any point ever. I mean, look at it this way. Atheist versus theist. Atheist said, there is no God. Theist says, there is no God. Who decided that? There we go. All of a sudden, the theist won the argument. The end of discussion. It's literally that easy. Debating has never been as easy until Lord Escanor stepped his almighty foot upon the playing field, okay? This man is a living embodiment of flex. And today I'm talking about failed flex. And the reason why I'm talking about this fight is because if you try to flex on Escanor, ooh, this is a big sad, big oof. F's in the chat. It will become a failed flex, because Lord Flexanor definitely knows what he's doing. In fact, that's how I may have gotten my name.
Oh, he has something. Oh, he's younger brother.
I love this community, and I love Escanor. So in this fight, Estarossa versus Escanor, Estarossa is a very conceited individual.
Yeah, he
has 3 powers going for him. That makes him feel like he's pretty invincible. He's like, well, my first power is anyone that hates me and bears any hatred towards me cannot actually affect me with their attacks. And being that I just killed your best friend, you probably hate me, so you won't be able to attack me. That's one. Pretty broken, I know. His second power, I control ultimate darknesses. So being that your attacks are sun attacks, I can just block out the sun with my darkness. Literally as easy as that. You have no chance against me. Now, allow me to proceed to flex on you with my third power. My third power is a full counter attack, automatically reflecting all physical damage you do. So you can't use your sun magic because it'll be swallowed by my darkness. You can't use your physical attacks because I can reflect it with my full counter. And you can't even attack me because you hate me. Now, this man was flexing so hard with his ultimate 3-piece combo. I was like, bruh, how is this gonna work out? And then Escanor brings out the big guns. The big guns being Escanor. Every single flex that Estarossa attempts, that he even dares try and flex upon the sun god Escanor himself, well, it all becomes failed flexes. Because Escanor can get around all of these powers so easily. Escanor can attack Estarossa fast.
I love it because I read that scene. It was my favorite part of the anime. I know a lot of people didn't like that fight, at least compared to the manga. But one of my favorite scenes in the fight was when he walked up to him, it was like, how can you attack me? Don't you hate me? He's like, why would I have hate for someone so much weaker than me? It's just the pure amount of just badassery that Escanor was. Like that's why he will always be like to be like top 10, top 5 baddest anime characters of all time. Because he just knew like he was the shit and you were nothing but garbage. And anybody who tried was garbage. Like I love him so much. He was like, why would I have hate for someone so much weaker than me? He's like, bro, you are so much weaker than me. I can't, like it will be below me to hate you because you're just that much weaker than me. Now let me give you this asshole real quick so I can go home. Like, come on.
Faster than Estarossa can see, so he cannot use his full counter. So he says, oh, my physical attacks can't harm you. Why would you think that? His sun is so powerful, it can outdo Estarossa's darkness. So he says, oh, your darkness swallowed out my sun. Who decided that? And of course, the ultimate best line in this entire fight had to probably be, oh, and I can't affect you with my attacks because I harbor hatred towards you? Well, I don't hate anyone weaker than me. I merely pity them. He absolutely flexed the absolute schnizzle out of Estarossa. Estarossa came in here so conceited, thinking that there was no chance he could lose. And he developed the ultimate combination to flex on Escanor. And Escanor turned all that around.
Like, he thought
he
had an Escanor just like, bro,
Estarossa tried to throw at him,
like, bro,
just turned into absolute nothing.
It's like that little kid
even more than that, when Estarossa actually gets a full counter attack off and lands physical damage to Escanor before Escanor knows full counter's the thing, he's like, well, of course full counter is the damage that I just just took. It's befitting of my own attack to harm myself. Not like you can actually harm me at all. Ha! Pathetic. And when he actually knocks Estarossa to his knees, the man, of course, has to spit out, "Oh, you're on your knees already. Did you drop a coin?" Man, I love Escanor so much. What a conceited, beautiful bastard this man is.
He really is an
deserves
awesome
every
character.
single moment of flex he has. And the reason why this is on the failed flex list is because I absolutely had to include Estarossa attempting to flex on the flex god himself, which is just laughable to think about in hindsight. But anyway, next failed flex. Yugi versus the Silent One. So, believe it or not, I did watch all of Yu-Gi-Oh! In order, from episode 1 to episode 200, however far it went, I don't really remember. But the point is, before actually watching the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Just sitting down and doing it, I've obviously caught certain episodes on TV at different times, and
he thought he was going to figure out the King of Games himself,
when Yu-Gi-Oh! Is gonna be on the telly. I could be mistaken, but I believe the first episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! I ever watched was Yugi versus the Silent One, and it stands today as one of my favorite battles in the history of anime. I love it so much. You got Kaiba smirking in the background, Mokuba having absolutely no idea what's going on like Mokuba happens to do over the entirety of the series, and you got a battle of wit and mind. Yugi was up against this dude with Slifer the Sky Dragon, an Egyptian god card, a card so feared. How is Yugi gonna get out of this conundrum he's found himself in? And bruh, he wins with big brain alone. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Yu-Gi-Oh! Was an absolute treasure, and this fight was so much of the beauty
that's why I
that it actually
first generation
I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh!
sure all of you
was
remember it as well. If you've seen Yu-Gi-Oh! It's one of those really standout moments that's just, oh, beautiful.
Like,
so, Silent One guy had this ultimate combo in play, and boy, was he flexing that combo. So, Slifer the Sky Dragon's ability, I'm gonna go through this quickly, is it gains 1,000 attack for every single card in its control.
I want to say is like, Yugi was such a big flexer in the anime. I mean, yeah, there were times where he lost or was stupid and said that, but he wasn't being stupid, and he was really with it, and he was calm. Like, there was nobody that could stop him. Like, I remember an episode of anime. I don't know if you guys have seen this, watched the episode of anime where Kaiba and Yugi are dueling, like, for the final chip to enter the game, you know, at Pegasus Island, whatever. And then, like, because Kaiba knows he's not gonna be able to win, he literally says, like, "Hey, I can't lose this no matter what, so if you beat me, I'm going to throw myself off this cliff and kill myself. Can you re-hand on your head, Yugi?" I was like, bro, that's such a bitch-ass move. I was so mad. I remember I had to be like, maybe 9, 10 years old. I was like, bro, you such a bitch. I was so mad, bro. I was so mad. And then you had Yugi, you had the Pharaoh, they was rushing to the Pharaoh was like, fuck it. We gotta save our grandma, right? The Pharaoh was waiting to do it, be dead. I was the Pharaoh, but Yugi was like, no, we can't kill her. I'll be like, why? He's such a bitch. Like, ooh, like that's one of the worst moments of anime that got me so mad. I was like, bro, I want to beat Kaiba ass. And yeah, Kaiba is a great dude, but it's like one more. It's like I could never be a Kaiba fan. I could never do it because I had to be the bitchest ass moment in the world for me.
Hand. And also, it automatically destroys any monster summoned to the field with 2,000 or less attack. Now, this is great, but it's not always easy to get so many cards in your hand unless you have the ultimate combo that the Silent One put into play. He had Ugly Slime Thing that would automatically get summoned back whenever it's destroyed. This card that whenever one of your monsters is summoned from the graveyard, you get to draw 2 cards. And then another thing that whenever one of his cards would be destroyed, it would destroy Slime Thing instead. So it would create this crazy combo that whenever Yugi actually wanted to attack, he'd end up involuntarily attacking Slime Thing, which would destroy it, bring it back, his opponent draws 2 cards, Slifer gains 2,000 more attack, giving him this crazy, ultimate, unbeatable strategy, and the 4-card combo that will be forever remembered as a freaking ridiculously broken plan, and Slifer was terrifying. So Yugi, with big brain alone, that he manages to hide in that lovely, luscious amount of hair that he manages to get into that shape every single day, came up with the crazy counter strategy of a lifetime. He used the card to take control of Revival Jam, and when it gets summoned to his field, Slifer destroys it. And it gets resummoned from the graveyard. But this time, to Yugi's field. That's not how the actual rules work in the actual card game, but that's how it works in the anime. We don't need to ask questions.
Yeah,
it's not. Silent Guy drew 2 more cards. Slifer's getting even stronger. But when it automatically gets summoned back to the field, Slifer destroys it again. And it automatically comes back. So the guy draws another 2 cards from his deck. And so on and so forth. It trapped his opponent into an ultimate loop where it would get summoned, get destroyed, he'd draw, get summoned, get destroyed, he'd draw, until eventually he draws out of cards in his deck, and he has no cards left in his deck. That is one of the ways to lose gives a duel.
Like, he literally made
now, the reason why this
out of
scene is so
cards, bro.
amazing is not only because of the big brain at work that made me fall in love with Yu-Gi-Oh! Altogether. Not only was it that the stakes were through the roof, which also keeps you on the edge of your seat through a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel, but it was the glorious fact that it was a failed flex. While Silent One dude was drawing cards for Slifer, he felt like he was on the top of the world. This man was flexing on Yugi so hard, telling Yugi, bruh, you lost. Look, I'm drawing more and more cards. You suck. Look how strong my dragon is. You can't even summon anything. Ha! And even when Yugi took control of Revival Gem in the beginning, it didn't dawn on him that it was an ultimate card loop until he loses. It was even funnier because as it would die and get resummoned and die and get resummoned, he would draw more cards. Slifer would have like billions of attack, and he just continued laughing and mocking Yugi at the ridiculousness of his move. Slifer's just becoming stronger. And then the flex turned into a beautiful failed flex at the drop of a dime when he realized he had no cards left in his deck. And that was the end of Yugi's adversary. This was one of the first, if not the first Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode I saw, and I was like, bruh, where could I watch more of this show immediately? Then I finally found the lovely VHS black brick that I shoved in a VCR, and lo and behold, it was French. But I watched that French Yu-Gi-Oh! Dub, and I will never forget that time that Kaiba summoned the Dragon Blanc Yeux Bleus. It was absolutely terrifying, and I know the entire Duelist Kingdom arc by heart in French, and it's a little scary. But the failed flex of the Silent One was glorious, and I forever remember this as one of the greatest failed flexes in anime. And that brings us to the next failed flex, which is gonna be in the next episode of Biggest Failed Flexes in Anime if you get this bad boy to 50K likes. That's right, I have a bunch more on the back burner, but I feel like this was a relatively good length for a video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually had a lot of fun putting it together. At first, when I thought of the idea, I'm like, no, there aren't a lot of failed flexes. I can't actually do this. And I was like, bruh, this is gold. I had so much fun looking at these failed flexes because as much fun as it is to see someone succeed through hard work and determination, sometimes it's also fun to see douchebags fail. So hell yeah, subscribe if you're new. Smash like 50K, and the next one will be coming out soon. Let me know failed flexes you would like me to include in the next episode in the comments of this video. Have yourselves a most wonderful evening. I stream on Twitch relatively regularly, link in the description. Feel free to check me out there. And remember to stay weird, fam.
Alright guys, that's the end of the show. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, shout out to Nuts in this video. I'm reacting to it on credit goes to him, but that was great. I love this funny guy. His personality was absolutely amazing. I love just how funny he was, and just how straight in his face he was. Like, he was not afraid to be like, hey, I'm better than you. No, I'm not saying that. But again, guys, I hope you guys enjoy. There was some great flexes there. Like that Yu-Gi-Oh! I wasn't expecting her to bring up the Yu-Gi one because it's been such a long time since I go back and watch the original Yu-Gi. But I do remember that fight, and I remember being watching as a kid. I was like, man, Yugi's about to lose. He got the God card. There's no way he can win. Yugi just pulls out the I'm smarter than you though. He's like, but I have the Egyptian God card, but I'm smarter than you though. But I have this super duper strategy, though, give him all these infinite attack points, but I'm smarter than you, though. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had no chill. And of course, we can't forget the Flex God himself, Escanor, the Lion's himself, the Fire God, who just destroys all enemies. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoy. I did. That was actually pretty fun. I really liked that. But if you enjoy, again, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Do you want me to continue? Do you want me to do number 2? Do you want me to do the biggest flexes in anime series as well? Let me know down below. I will leave a little description of the original video as well as the original channel, and as well because before it's all next video. So please go check out the video. Go like it. If you already liked it, go like it again. Go subscribe to them. Make sure you subscribe, and make sure to check my social media down below. And then again, if you guys want to see me do more, so I'm gonna talk fast. Make sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, guys. But besides cracks, I'm out. Peace.